The Extraordinary Rendition of Janos Farkas. Chapter 43. His mouth felt like it was lined with old cotton batting that had been used to wipe up diesel fuel. He banged the door again. "Wake up! Wake up! Wake up, Hussein! Wake up!" He paused, closing his eyes and rubbing his tongue hard against his teeth to get spit. Swallowing, he called, "Wake up, Hussein! You work today." "Go away!" "Hussein, it is me, Abdullah. Wake up. You have to go to work today." "I'm sick today." "No, Hussein, you have to go to work today." "No." "You made me promise to get you up." "No, I didn't. Go away." Abdullah banged on the door again, but without the enthusiasm. The hangover roared at him to leave. His broken arm begged him, but he knew that if he left that, what would happen to him tomorrow would be worse than anything that could happen to him today. "I can make you rich," the man had said. "It only requires 1 hour of your time. You don't have to handle anything, touch anything. Just make sure no one else does either. Guard it for 1 hour and I will pay you 10,000 euros, as much as you make in 10 years. He waited 1 hour, 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours. He never saw the man again, and at the end of the day he took the small suitcase home, hoping for the man's return, hoping for the 10,000 euros. That night the Muhabarat, the Syrian secret police, came to his house. They were looking for a suitcase full of opium. The carelessly packed powder spilled onto the floor of his house. A beheading offense. "You have a cousin called Turk, do you not?" Abbas had asked him when he was dragged to Farfilistan. "Ah, perhaps you can be of use to us." The door opened slightly. "Hussein," he said, "you have to go to work. If they find out you missed work because you were with me, they will never give me my job back. You need to go to work, Hussein. For me, I will drive you." "How can you drive with just one good arm?" Hussein asked. "I'll steer. You shift." As they walked to the car, Abdullah felt for the pistol he had been given, the Beretta M9. It gave him little comfort. He thought of saying, "You're right, Hussein, you should not go to work today. Why don't we both stay home? I'll get a bottle of whiskey and we'll get drunk." But he could not and did not. There was no way he could deny today. In his dream he was on a cross being crucified like Christ. But his was not a crucifixion of pain, but of pleasure. The crowds were not there to jeer, but to cheer. And he was not being held up by nails, but by some magical power. In the dream he lowered himself from the cross, floating down, but the crowd fell silent, and a sadness came over them, and it was only when he went back up in the cross that they once again started to cheer. The sensation was so intense that it woke him up. But with the waking came an intense feeling of loneliness, littleness, and isolation. The bed seemed to overwhelm him, and he tried to curl into it. And then the hands of the old priest, the hands of long ago, hands that were ever present, started to caress his back, moving ever downward until they started to spread his buttocks. He had wanted to call out, tried to, but the help that was there, the Mother Superior who was watching them, only smiled at him, with thin lips that were as red as blood. The priest jerked himself upright, shivering in the warm night, pushing the past back where it belonged. He looked at his watch. It was nearly 4 in the morning. There was nothing for him to do until the afternoon. He tried to will himself back to sleep, back into the adulation of the crowd, and far from the old priest's cold hands and the nun's thin lips. Colonel Abbas had not slept all night. The word of the attempted kidnapping had unnerved him. To be safe, he had moved his wife and family to a secure location. He checked his pistol. There was no sure thing in this, no sure thing at all. Worst of all, the man who was at the center, the man whose simple role was to facilitate the action, was not exactly the most trustworthy and reliable person around. The only thing was that the man had no choice. If he did not play the game, he would be a dead man. But a dead man that might take many others with him. He found the bulletproof vest annoyingly clumsy. To make room for the Glock automatic in his jacket pocket, he had to take out his apple. Clenching the apple between his teeth, he ejected the magazine from the Glock. It held 13 rounds. He replaced the first 3 with blanks. 3 was enough. The other 10 would be real in case things didn't go according to script. If things went south, he could squeeze off the 3 blanks in less than a second. Getting to the real deal, real death. Trust no one. There must be an easier way to make a living, he said to himself. What it was, he wasn't sure, because this is what he did. This is what he was good at. This is what Ignatius paid him for. She alone in the house of Abdullah's mother knew the certainty of their success. She didn't know how or why. She just knew. She was Janos's wife. She had followed the trail to Damascus. She had come to free him, to see him free. And the ending would not be here. They would have to succeed. That she would have no part in the actual doing of it did not bother her. She had asked to take a part, an active role, and had been denied. It was just as well. It was not her role. She had asked for a gun for the morning, the time that was now, and had been denied. Gisela thought she might panic and fire it and upset the plan. I have used a pistol before, she had answered. My father taught me. They did not ask where, or why, or in what country. The blackness. Into the blackness, the unseen and the unknown. He could feel the cutting tightness of the plastic tie that held his hands. At the airport, Carpenter had said, I'll have to secure your hands with a plastic cable tie. Sorry. How long ago was that? If not a life, certainly a lifetime. Hands on either side guided him along the corridor. He took a purposely long stride, trying to measure the length of the leg shackles. He stumbled. The hands held him up. It would be impossible to run. Even if he could, who to, where to? The sounds that he knew, the sounds that were sights to his ears, came in expected sequence. The cell corridor, the unlocking of the cell block door, the elevator, the next corridor, and then a door. A new door. Not the room. A new smell. It was air, fresh air, outside air. There was the smell of something unprisoned-like. Eucalyptus, azaleas, and apples? He listened in the blackness. The silence was drowned out by the thumping of his heart. And it was not even his own heart. It was the heart of Janos Farkas. He stepped out of the door and into the smell of apples and whatever happens in another world. That's the end of chapter 43. Tomorrow, chapter 44.